At the construction site, everything appeared organized. Safety signs were clearly posted. Workers wore helmets, gloves, and reflective vests. Equipment was inspected regularly. Daily briefings reinforced procedures. On paper, the safety system looked strong and reliable. The project was a large commercial building that required coordination between multiple teams. Engineers, machine operators, electricians, and laborers worked side by side. Each group had specific responsibilities, and each task followed documented guidelines. For months, progress continued smoothly. There were no major interruptions. Supervisors proudly reported compliance with regulations. The company leadership believed the safety system was working exactly as designed. But safety systems rarely fail all at once. They begin to crack quietly. The first signs were subtle. A toolbox talk was shortened because the team needed to start early. A routine equipment checklist was completed from memory instead of being fully reviewed. A minor hazard was mentioned informally, but not officially documented. None of these actions seemed serious. In fact, they were easy to justify. The team was experienced, the schedule was tight. The risks felt familiar. Over time, these small adjustments became habits. At the center of the site was Marcos, the operations coordinator. He was respected and efficient. His focus was on keeping the project on schedule while maintaining quality standards. He believed strongly in safety, but he also trusted his team's experience. One afternoon, while walking through the site, Marcos noticed that two different crews were working in closer proximity than planned. The separation zone marked in the original risk assessment was no longer clearly defined. It had gradually shifted as the project advanced. When he asked about it, a supervisor explained that the change improved workflow and saved time. The teams had been working this way for several days without any issues. That was the moment Marcos realized something important. The safety system had not failed because someone ignored it intentionally. It had started to crack because small deviations were allowed to continue without review. In construction environments, conditions evolve daily. Structures rise, pathways change, materials move. A safety plan created at the beginning of a project must adapt continuously. When updates do not keep pace with change, gaps appear. Marcos decided to pause operations in that area for reassessment. The teams reviewed the original layout and compared it to the current site conditions. They identified several small inconsistencies: barriers not repositioned, signage partially obscured, and updated procedures not fully communicated. Again, nothing severe had occurred, but the potential for confusion was increasing. Later that week, Marcos organized a site-wide meeting focused on a single topic: where safety systems start to crack. He explained that cracks do not begin with dramatic events. They begin with normalization of small risks. When minor shortcuts produce no immediate consequences, they become accepted. Over time, acceptance replaces vigilance. He encouraged the team to view safety as a living system rather than a fixed set of rules. Checklists must be completed thoroughly, even on familiar tasks. Changes in layout must trigger new risk assessments. Communication must remain consistent, especially when schedules become demanding. The company also introduced simple preventive measures. Weekly walkthroughs now included cross-team evaluations. Workers rotated roles during safety observations to gain fresh perspectives. Digital reporting tools were reinforced to ensure even minor concerns were logged and reviewed. Within weeks, the atmosphere shifted. Conversations about safety became more proactive. Instead of asking whether something had caused a problem, teams asked whether it had the potential to. Marcos reflected on the experience. He understood that strong safety systems depend less on documents and more on daily behavior. Policies provide structure, but attention and accountability maintain integrity. At the construction site, progress continued. The building grew taller. Deadlines were met with careful planning. Most importantly, the workforce felt empowered to protect the system that protected them. In the end, the lesson was clear. Most safety systems do not collapse suddenly. They start to crack when small deviations go unaddressed. Prevention requires continuous review, open communication, and the courage to pause and reassess. Because in any construction environment, the strongest foundation is not concrete or steel. It is a culture that refuses to ignore the first small crack.